Hi friends, just wanted to share some ideas that personally I believe would help us to make a greater impact in Nicaragua. Thanks for making the decision to come into Nicaragua and to serving our kids and to working with them and to making a difference in their lives. But here are a few ideas that I would like to share with you. I think it's important when we understand cultural issues, if we're in the States or if we're in Nicaragua or if we're in other countries. It's really important when we understand cultural issue. So these are some, from my point of view, cultural things that I think it's important we should be aware of. In Latin America, and specifically in Nicaragua, the base of the relationship is mistrust. And just to frame that up a little, I heard someone say that North Americans, culturally, they would trust and trust and trust until you gave them a reason not to trust you. In Latin America and in Nicaragua, it's the other way. It's like we don't trust, we don't trust, we don't trust until someone gave us a reason to trust. So I think it's important when we understand that, because that would take me to the second point. That can be the base of our relationship. No? And as you start out from the base of trusting, many times what happens is that you're asking a lot of personal questions about maybe the kids, maybe the staff, about their life, about things. But when you understand that base, the first point, it's really important, because then you start by creating relationship in order to build the trust. So that could open up a door for a greater relationship and a way to influence the kid or the caregivers. I think it's important when we understand, especially for when we're working with the orphanages, is the message that we're sending now and the way we're approaching this is it's not an orphanage, it's a home. No? And this is really important because for these kids, this is their home. No? And that has to do also with the idea of, you have a father. You have a father in heaven who loves you, and you're here living with your caregivers. They call them aunt. Sometimes they call them dad, mom. But it's important when we can reinforce the idea of this is your home instead of this is an orphanage. It's like a big building where you're living. It can be a big building, but it's their home. So I think it's important if we can understand that. Many times when we have teams in Nicaragua, if we go in, like, for example, to La Chureca, we're there with the team serving, and suddenly we finish serve, and everyone would just, we're ready to leave, and they would just run to their backpack and pull out their sanitizer gel, and they would wanting to wash hands and all of this stuff in front of the people who just shake your hand. So I think it's important if we can definitely understand how offensive that can be to a person who just shook your hand, then you're cleaning your hand with gel, with sanitizer gel. To us is please don't promise. Don't promise anything, because, for example, and if I just use an example, someone went to Bluefields and promised the youth group, saying that we're going to, or we just gave some computer for you, or we're going to send computers for you, or whatever. I mean, those are promises that sometimes teams would make. The computers never showed up, but sometimes the youth group is thinking that Pastor Ed or Pastor Earl or whoever kept the computer. I mean, they receive it and they never gave it back. And many times it's because the computer never came. So I think it's important that we don't make promise, no kind of promise. You're also working with people in Nicaragua, in the garbage dump, in the orphanage, in the feeding program, and wherever. I think it's really important if we can ask for permission to take a picture. I mean, that's their home again. That's their environment. That's their life. That's their room, bedroom. That's everything for them. No? So it's important if kids, they really enjoy taking pictures. Even the staff, many of them would enjoy taking pictures with you. But it's important, and I think it's good if we can definitely say or ask for permission to take pictures. I think that would be very helpful. With them, as you're coming from upon the hill, I would say, into the forest, it's easy to say what to change, how to do things, and all of this stuff. I think it's important if we can definitely give ideas, if we can share our ideas, if we can talk to them, if we can work with them, if we can, but not like dictating and telling them, change this, don't do that, you should move this, you should go there, you should, and you should, and you should. And I mean, I think it's important if we can, again, I'm not saying that we shouldn't share ideas. I'm not saying that we shouldn't suggest. I'm not saying that we should tell them what we're seeing. I'm not saying that, but it's not like dictating, like we're telling them what to change, or we're telling them how to solve everything. And I think that we should be very careful with that also. At the end of the day, we need to understand, actually, that as ORPHANetwork, and even me as the director in Nicaragua, and being Nicaraguan, we're about how can we empower the leaders, how can we empower the caregivers, how can we empower the church, so they can definitely work hard as they have been doing, and they will continue to accomplish their vision. How can we empower? Just wanted to share these ideas with you. Thanks for understanding the point, and I'm sure together we're going to make a greater impact. We're going to change many, many lives in Nicaragua, and we're going to empower our partners in order to reach their vision and to do a lot more to serve our kids and to change their lives forever.